Alright guys, as you can see I got the oil burner set up on the stove here. Set it up so I'm burning wood down here, and then I got an oil burner set here. The idea here is that you start the fire with wood, and then show you the oil pan up there to preheat the oil. Once everything gets warmed up, then you just start dripping it in, stick the torch in, light the oil burner, and then that way, if you're working on something and you're only going to be out here for another half an hour, you just turn that on rather than restart the fire, and then when you're all done, you just shut the oil off and you walk away. There's no more flames going, there's no hot coals to worry about, nothing like that. Right now I got her turned down pretty low. It was actually getting quite hot in here. It's not very warm, or not very cold outside. I think it's like 20 above, so not too bad outside. So this thing's really keeping things cozy in here in the shop. Right now I got about 550 here. My exhaust going out just about 400 up there. So yeah, it's working pretty good. This is just a piece of stainless, schedule stainless on a plate. I just have it set in here. Bunch of holes drilled. Biggest thing I found with this is drill more holes than you think, or even just go as far as run the numbers for how much air you need for the oil rate you're going to burn. Based on my airflow here, I can burn, I think about a quart an hour. Give me about 50,000 BTUs per hour, that is. I don't remember how many holes I would have had to drill to burn it at a gallon an hour, and then I would get about 150,000 BTU, but this turns out to be more than enough. One thing I did notice as far as the fire in here, it's difficult to get a good draft going with these holes. Obviously, because once you get your chimney heated up, it just sucks air through here rather than sucking the draft through the fire. So I did get this, just a piece of galvanized ducting that I can put around this. A big ass hose clamp that my dad had for whatever reason. And then I can hose clamp it shut if I just want to run the fire. That way it won't pull a draft through there. The other thing I noticed here, I'm sure you guys can hear the draft that's pulling. The other thing I noticed is if I close off the flue in the back for the wood stove, then this thing gets one hell of a lot of air. I mean, it takes off like a jet. And that's a big thing with this setup. You got to make sure your dampener is down there, not up here, because if you put your dampener up here and it starts smoldering, you can fill this whole thing with gas, and if it ignites, you're going to have some issues. I'll bring you guys in so you can kind of see it here a little bit better. Right now I just got a box fan behind it. Reason for that, you know, I have a squirrel cage and I'm going to run ducting to actually get more airflow through it, but I just haven't picked that stuff up yet, so bring you in here. Boy, there we go. Much gooder. There we go. All right. So as you can see, we got almost 600 there. As I said in my last videos, I'm not the best MIG welder, but I'm halfway decent at TIG welding. But in here, I just have a couple elbows pointed up, so it actually injects real tornadoes in there. You have to be careful. You put too many elbows in, and it might take your house away. And then my oil feed, obviously, is this line goes in, and I just have an old piece of 2-inch black pipe with a piece of 2-inch channel iron on top. So that way it just gives it a little burner tray, and that sits, I don't know, probably right about here. Then I got coming through here, That way it kind of preheats the oil coming through that. I found that if you leave it directly on the metal, this guy, it gets a little too hot. So, got it up in the air there. As you can see, I'm just barely running stuff through it because it's cozy. It's real cozy. Then back here, I just got that little needle valve and my oil container here to kind of preheat it. I just JB welded it, the tube going in, and I set the tube up a little bit. That way, if there's any water that gets in there or dirt or whatever, it will, settle to the bottom and it won't plug up my needle valve or anything. And like I said, I just got a box fan back here, but I plan to hook a squirrel cage up. So, overall, it's working pretty good. Like I said, that fire's just about died out in the bottom, and I'm down to a t-shirt in here. I mean, it's cooking right along, just running on oil. There's a little bit of coals in the bottom, but she's putting out the heat she needs to. And I think once I get a better fan on it, and then I can run her a little faster, I think it'll cook us right out of the shop here. So, that's it. It's all installed. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments or suggestions or anything. As you can see, I mean, I'll shut the light off here. Give you guys a good look at that tube. I mean, you can see she's glowing red hot in there. And that's just with that little trickle of oil. She's good and cozy. It also gives you some nice mood lighting. Nice calming sound, if you ever want to bring the wife or girlfriend out here. But that's it, guys. It all worked out pretty well. It all ended up being reasonably cheap. I think the most expensive thing would have been the stove piping, or the exhaust piping, so works pretty well. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. As I always say, life's a learning experience, so if you think something that I could do better or whatever, let me know. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, it's just before I took the video, so you can see just how clean it really burns. Pretty much no black smoke. I mean, it's a lot better than a wood stove, to be honest.